Morning.
Hey, Bill.
Good morning.
Well, it looks like a bucket of coffee, Ed.
And it's my second cup, so I'm getting a little nervous here. It looks like one of those days where a good book and staying inside.
Yep. Kind of hard to play croquet on a day like today, isn't it?
I would say. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning. Morning, Jason.
Good morning. How are you all? I'm trying to.
Well,
I'm trying to let people in as they come. So let's see. All right.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun, Jason?
Yeah, I've got to figure out how to change my name here. It's still. I'll get to that. I'm gonna make that my goal for the day.
will the real Holly Style please stand up?
Well, Jason, if you figure it out, let me know, because I got a number assigned. I had to reload my Zoom the other day, and
Is that your prison number, Jim?
well, I wasn't going to tell everybody about it, but yes, it is.
Phone's off.
You see the mayor's hitting the bottle over there.
I've already had my 3 cups of coffee, Ed.
Still working on mine.
What's it say on that cup, Dan? What?
Michigan State University,
Cool.
home of the Spartans.
Who
Did
are
they make
playing?
the cut?
Who are they playing Thursday?
UCLA.
Oh,
Oh, well, please beat UCLA, because as USC fans, we hate them. So
Okay, I'll be happy to do that.
we're still waiting on Bill. Oh, well, no, there's Bill. Hey, Bill.
I'm here.
Bill's
Hey,
Hiding out in the corner over there.
And Mr. Kidd is joining us.
Morning, Barbara.
I guess everybody's
Now,
here.
Holly, who is Sky Valley?
I do not know. I do not know who that is. But it's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody ought to name a city that, you know?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Bruce, Sky Valley is the highest and coolest city in Georgia.
Thank you for marketing checking in.
There you go. Just trying to keep everybody on track.
Very good.
Good luck.
Yeah, amen to that.
Oh, it's Paul. Morning, Paul.
I think everybody's here.
All right, I think we'll just go ahead and get started since it's 4 minutes after 10. Good morning, everybody. Glad y'all are here. I think we need a rousing version of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And then maybe a blast of a foghorn this morning, a little foggy this morning. Quick side note, I was at a Forward Raven meeting last night and was talking to Claude Dillard, who was telling me he had relatives up here in Sky Valley many years ago who had a cattle ranch, and that because of the fog of Sky Valley, all the cows had to wear bells. Wouldn't that be cool to hear those little bells jingling in our valley?
well,
Anyway,
given our current situations, maybe some of us should have bells.
We'll vote on that later, Bill. All right, we're going to start off our meeting this morning with Mr. Councilman Bill presenting our invocation.
All right, thank you. Let's pray. Lord, may your grace cover each aspect of this meeting, and may all concerns be addressed. And from the bottom of our hearts and the depths of our souls, I pray that you heal our country's people and our cities. Let us live in peace and respect. As you have taught us, love is more powerful than hate. Amen.
Wonderful.
Amen.
Amen,
Amen.
Bill. Thank you. That was wonderful. All right, let's get started with our third item on our agenda, and that's to approve the minutes from our February the 17th council meeting. I hope you all had a chance to review them that were included in your packet. Do I hear a motion to approve these minutes?
I move we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Jim. Second.
I'll second.
Second.
Second, Bruce. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. All right, they've been approved. All right. Our next agenda item is to adopt the agenda. And I would like to present, I would like the present agenda to be amended to include under item 7 of the special committee report. Do I hear a motion to adopt the presented agenda as amended?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All right, we got who was that? Bruce and somebody else. Yeah, I'll just say Ed Morley.
That would be correct.
That would be correct. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
So
All right.
Holly, what
Good.
are you amending?
I'm amending the agenda under item 7 to add the special projects report.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Keep me straight, Karen. All right. Item number 7, it is with great pleasure I am introducing item number 5, excuse me, because it means we actually have a city manager since it's the city manager report. And I must say, Mr. Jason has hit the road running with both feet and arms and has really done a fantastic job, and he hasn't run away yet. So with that, take it away, Jason, or Holly style, as it says on your square there.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, Mayor and Council, and good morning to everyone participating. I do have a few things I do want to briefly discuss in my manager report. Number 1, the aging culverts on Sky Valley Way. This is at the bend of the road there, just past the golf clubhouse. I've reached out to 4 professional engineers to try to get a proposal to see what we can do with those culverts. Of those 4 contacted, 1, James Irvin, he's a local PE. I met with James about a week and a half ago. He came up to Sky Valley, and he is in the process of getting us a proposal with what I hope will be a recommendation with some project estimates. James, I spoke with him this past Friday, and there's some things he's trying to get together. He hopes to have this to us here by the end of this month. And my goal is to get that to you all by next month's work session and regular council meeting. The second thing is the needed repairs at City Hall. Prior to me coming on board, the city did get a couple of quotes. I did reach out to those 2 contractors, and with the volatility of material pricing, I met with them, and they're going to have to revise those quotes. Again, that'll be something that I hope to have to you all by next month. I have began the process of earning my level 1 local government financial management certification. That's a 7-course, a very intense course certification program to deal with accounting and so forth. It will take about a year to get that. I'm about halfway through my first course. The lighting, number 4, lighting at the main entrance of Sky Valley. We've had some concerns about some of the brightness there. The tent has been ordered and received, and I believe there may have been some flagging done where our guys, James and his guys, can install that. This is basically the same type of tent that you would see on a car window. So hopefully with all this rain, when it passes, we can get that done. Wanted to pass along a compliment that I received to the Sky Valley Police Department. And I want to thank my wife, Jessica, who follows the Sky Valley. She follows several of the Facebook pages, but apparently a homeowner, their doorbell or webcam, they had reported that somebody was at their property they did not recognize. They did reach out to the police department. And the compliment basically was that they were very thorough. They were quick to respond. They were able to secure that the property was safe. And I believe that was Officer Brown that was on patrol. That was over the weekend. So again, there's neighbors being neighborly and technology. Number 6, speaking of neighbors being neighborly, the city has had some complaints regarding animal owners not cleaning up after themselves. Either that or animals have been roaming freely within the city. That is against city ordinance. So we're asking residents and visitors to please clean up after their animals. It's not only against city ordinance, but it's unsanitary and unneighborly. So we can all do our part to make sure that the city remains clean. Number 7, trash cans. Recently, the city did place a new trash can at the Overlook. This is a bear-proof trash can. And I would just like to add that our city staff, our public works folks, have been finding bulk trash placed into some of the city provided trash cans. I'm sorry.
Somebody's not muted.
I just wanted to add that those city cans at the Overlook, as well as the mailboxes, the pickleball court, those are for what we would refer to as incidental trash.
Telling people about the trip. You understand what's going on?
Is that Terry Dobbs is not muted?
It's the ranch, the postponed.
I don't know who's
Looking at going Wednesday.
Okay, I think hopefully that stopped that. Anyway, just to finish up on trash cans, those cans are for incidental use and not for bulk or bag trash. And we are asking citizens, visitors and residents not to use that as such. And then weather, we are expecting some pretty severe potential for severe weather this week. So let's be weather wise. And finally, I just wanted to say that as I begin my 4th week with the city, I've been spending a lot of time trying to learn the various city systems and processes. I've had several citizens come up to meet me. I'd like to thank them all for doing that. And I've met and getting to know the city staff. Everybody's been very nice and helpful. And I'm very thankful to be here. And I will conclude my report there for any questions if you have any.
Jason, if you'll just give a brief description about the repairs we feel are due on the city hall, I think the council would need to know that.
We have some rotting exterior boards. There's several of the windows, the seals, they're rotted. Some of them you can actually basically poke a hole with in your finger. They've kind of been painted. Maintenance has been done. Some of them have been painted over the years, but kind of getting to the point now that something needs to be done. We've got a little bit of flooding issue that happens sometimes where water actually will enter in Karen's area. I've also been told if we get enough rain, it can actually enter into my office. And with the amount of rain that we may be experiencing this week, we may see that firsthand, but it's just much needed repair. The building has got some age on it. And I think it's at the point now, it sounds like, that we're going to have to start addressing those, but it's just a lot of rotted wood in windows and the drainage issues that just got to the point that we've got to do something about it.
Thank you. Any questions for Jason?
Jason, do we have kind of a ballpark idea what the costs are going to be?
Well, the two quotes that we had received, and again, they're being revised, but one was in the high 20,000 range, around 28,000. The other one was, I believe, in the low 30,000 range, but they're not an apple to apples quote. The one that was in the low 30s included adding a covered porch at the back door, and also included adding or fixing the drainage issues, installing the French drain. So even though that one may be a little bit more, it does include more things being done.
Okay, thank you.
Jason, do we anticipate needing to vacate City Hall while that work is done, or can we remain in place?
From what I have gathered from the contractors, we should be able to stay here. It would, weather permitting, probably they think it could be done in about 3 weeks. They're basically would bring the material on site. Most of this is going to be exterior type work, of course. Both contractors, they did put the disclaimer that until they pull back that rotted wood and see what's behind there, we really don't know. But I'm not anticipating us having to leave. Hopefully that can be done in sections, and but if need be, we'll figure it out and we'll make do. We'll get it done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
What about the next item, the Public Works report? Was that already included in yours, or is that separate?
I believe that James was going to try to be on the call here. He and I spoke last week, and he was prepared to speak, but I don't know if he's here or not.
I don't see him on here.
Thanks, I forgot about it.
Well, Midge is there's still a couple people not muted, Jason.
Okay.
Connie Larson's, Linda and Midge are not muted. We'll wait to see if James shows up. We'll come back to his
I'll
item.
send him a message here and ask if he's in a position to step on or pop on real quick.
Okay. All right. Our next item is our committee reports. Our city committees have already this year been working diligently for our city. So let's start with our first one, and that's our Mayoral Advisory Committee. And our chairman, Bill Oliver, will present his summary.
All right, thanks, Mayor. Based on our last conversation, our committee meeting took on the task to reach back out to a couple of our developers that we had previously been talking to explore some options and possibilities. And, that was driven by, we went through kind of a reconciliation of the joint comprehensive plan with Raven County and the committee, and on the citizen survey that was sent out last year, did a comparison of those, and really with the goal of getting some priorities set and make sure that we had tasks underway to achieve those priorities. So I reached out to Lamar Braswell, who we have talked to a couple of times, who had some interest in doing some projects here in Sky Valley. It started out with first looking at the building on 246. And then there was some other conversation with him about, some further development. Spoke with him. He's working on a date to get back to Sky Valley to spend time in his house. He's a property owner here. And waiting for him to let me know when he's going to be back, and then we'll set a meeting with him to talk. Also reached out to Harrison Merrill Sr. Good information there from where they are. They've been kind of hunkered down with COVID, and Senior is doing real well, which is great. He's staying real safe. he's really, I think, transitioned, or he said he's transitioned all of the decisions about their property, their owned property, and specifically here in Sky Valley, to Harrison Merrill Jr., which we knew that transition was underway. Harrison Merrill Jr. is out of the country right now. They've committed to get back to me either later this week or next week when he's back in country. And they seem to be open to the possibility to meet with us either in person or via Zoom. I'm suspecting it's via Zoom because Senior doesn't want to really go anywhere until this thing is essentially over with COVID. So, good positive response there. And then I already talked about the committee, looking for alignment in the joint comprehensive plan with Raven County and our citizen or property owner survey that we put together. And really the goal there is, to make sure we've solidified the priorities and built them into a 5-year strategic plan. Okay.
Any questions of Bill? Great, thank you, Bill. All right, our next committee report is Marketing Committee, and that's our chairman is Bob O'Keefe. Take it away, Bob.
Hi, folks. How are you?
Great.
Okay, we've been pretty busy in the planning of what we're doing this year. We had our last meeting last week, and our marketing consultant, Doug Hollinsworth, had a lot of things to report. We had an email blast out through Gulf Coast Magazine and a golf article that was posted in Ohio Golf Journal. And it was a very complimentary article to Sky Valley in general. And why Ohio? Because we get a lot of people from Ohio coming this way. Also, we had an opportunity to have a spotlight on a national radio show, golf radio show. And that took place on March 12th, where they interviewed Jamie Dara, who was our representative. And it wasn't just only for golf. It was about a 5-minute interview, and she was able to talk about Sky Valley, golf, real estate, the highest, coolest temperatures. And we will get a clip of that to listen to at a later date. Also, we are working on what we're calling a stay and play update, where we can offer a small package, come stay and play for special pricing. We're working on that now. We have some of our representatives contacting some of the local places where people can stay. Carla Stahl has taken on the task of compiling and contacting homeowners that do rental properties here in Sky Valley. It's a comprehensive type of a motion because there's so many different independent accommodations, and we want to be able to provide it to people where they can call and schedule and so on and so forth. Don't have a timeline on when that exactly is going to happen, but we're working on getting that done as quickly as we can for the upcoming season. We're also going to reach out again to timeshare, even though they have repeatedly resisted opportunities to be involved. We're going to ask them if they still want to be involved in this, because there's a benefit to all those potential owners. And what we're asking them to is to provide some little incentive, whether it's a discount off of their normal stay or, a free breakfast or something, so that they're offering something. Because we've had the question is, well, why would people do that for Sky Valley? Why would they want to do anything for Sky Valley? And it's not that they're doing something for Sky Valley. It will attract people to their business. And that's what marketing is about. Okay, I have a seat, if you will call it, on the Raven County Marketing Committee. And I've been attending those meetings since the beginning of January. And we're talking about some things that they're doing we could be involved in. And one of them has been that WSB, the TV station, had an opportunity, and this is the second time it's happened for Rabun County, where they will do a kind of a video interview and post it. Now, it will not be on the TV station, but it will be on their show on the website and so on and so forth. And we were able to be part. I jumped both feet into that one, and Roy and Harry met with WSB representatives on the 9th to discuss. In this particular case, it was golf, because that was what Rabun County was highlighting. And they came here and took footage, and it will probably be aired within the next month or two. And as I have more information about the specifics, I'll pass that on. As far as some of our print media, per what we as a committee agreed to at the end of 2020, we're going to continue to run full page ads in North Georgia Mountains magazine. And when I say full page ad, it's a digest sized magazine, and it's fairly inexpensive for a full page ad. And we're going to be in their spring, summer, and then also their fall editions. They have 4 a year, figured that the spring, summer, and then going into the fall with the change of leaves would be the 2 best ones for us to do. So that's already been put to bed, so to speak. And then what we're working on now, and even would be willing to hear other ideas for our 4th of July activities. Hopefully we'll be able to do some 4th of July activities this year. Now that COVID has kind of quieted down a little bit. Carla was very helpful in coming up with suggestions. If any of you have suggestions, you can email them to me. And some of the things we're talking about has been, the resurrection of the duck races, the parade, of course, the fireworks. We're contacting Sid Weber to see if they're going to do their cookout this year. And if any of you would like to send me ideas or come to the next meeting and present them at that time, we'd love to have them. We're just basically deciding what we're going to do, how can we do it, what were the things that our population wants. And Rabun County is very supportive of promoting it for us. They're actually looking for things to put on their calendars. So our next meeting for the marketing committee is April 15th at 10 o'clock. If it is at all possible, send me your ideas in advance, because then I will forward them to the committee, because we'd start like to make some decisions. And as far as budgeting is concerned, the mayor has been kind enough she's looking at what marketing activities have been spent in the past that haven't historically been considered marketing, and to kind of roll those funds into the marketing committee as opposed to having a lot of different accounts around. And she will come up with a figure for us, as well as what the hotel motel tax contribution will be. So we do have contributions from the club and from the POA. And so we do have some monies to move ahead with, and we're just waiting for the balancing of the accounts, so to speak, to know what we're going to be getting from the city. And that's my report.
Thank you, Bob. Any questions or comments for Bob?
Yeah, Holly, I think there's a chat.
I will answer that probably in the forum. Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. I did see that. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, thank you, Bob. Next report is going to be Debbie Dahlhaus. Jason, and take it away, Debbie.
Good morning. Our landscape advisory committee met on January 29.
Debbie,
I've got some feedback.
Yeah, I think if we mute, there you go. We muted Jim. Now try it.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes a big difference. Okay. Can we keep him muted, Polly?
Certainly.
For how long, Debbie? How long do you want Jim to be muted for?
Indefinitely.
Months?
Love you, sweetie.
Now, Debbie, we do have an attorney if you need one online.
No, we don't need to get real serious here. Okay, our committee met on January 29th, and we took a look at the areas that Mark Wanamaker was hired to maintain last year. That's the front entrance and the post office and the visitor center. We also looked at some new areas that the mayor asked us to consider landscaping, and that is the entrance to Rebel Circle on Ball Mountain Road, the entrance to Sky High on Ball Mountain, Winding Ridge at Ball Mountain. So this is all going down the mountain. And last year, our garden club put some perennials at the rock on where LaBelle and Ridgepole intersect. And we also put perennials at Driver Lane, where it comes into Bald Mountain. I don't want to get into the signs that Bruce asked us to look at, because he might be talking about them. But just to tell you, what we discussed with Mark was to, of course, continue what he's been doing at the front entrance and the post office. And as far as maintenance, he also does the maintenance at City Hall. And if you've driven in lately, you've seen new pine needles are at City Hall and at the front entrance. So he's already working for the spring activities. Because our Florida people would like to have color all year round, we are going to make some changes at the front entrance. There'll be the spring annuals that have been done in the past, but we're also going to add some hollies as you turn in on the right. There are some spirea. Those are deciduous shrubs. So right now they're just sticks. We're going to take those out, put some dwarf hollies in that will be green all year, that they have berries. We're going to move the junipers that are at the end of what we call the teardrop island. When you come in, there's a little island there where we put hydrangeas last year. We're going to take the junipers out and put in a pollinator garden there. He's going to investigate putting some low pots on top of the pillars as you come in, just the 4 main pillars. And those pots could have pansies in the winter because our Florida friends want to see flowers all year round. And then put maybe petunias, not terribly exciting, but they're colorful in the summer. Bruce Turner and Kathy have 2 Coosa dogwoods that we're going to move to the post office as you pull in. It'll be on the right side. He's going to add some dwarf shrubs at the street entrances we mentioned. These will be evergreen shrubs, maybe azaleas, maybe small mountain laurel. So they will have greenery all year round, and will have flowers in the summer. Winding Ridge is the big area or the area that needs the most work. As you pull in, the bank on the left has a lot of erosion. Those junipers that are leaving the entrance at the Teardrop Island are going to go on that bank along with some pine needles. So that will stop the erosion. It will also, again, give us color. And we will remove, Mark will remove the roses on the right side of that entrance and put some more of those dwarf hollies. And we will need the city to do some work behind the stone wall on the left side. There's some severe erosion caused by the runoff. If we can get the city, and I'll give you a written report, but just wanted to give you the highlights, get the city to clear out that ditch and fill it with riprap, maybe put a rock to divert the runoff at the top of the wall. Mark is also going to take one of the large rocks that is on the road side at Winding Ridge and move it to the front entrance to stop the trucks from driving over the bed on the right-hand side. There's some small rocks there now. By small, I mean, 40, 50 pounds. He's going to put a 100-pound rock because the delivery trucks are cutting the corner and doing some damage there. Let me pause and ask Bruce, do you want to talk about the two signs on Bald Mountain?
Yeah, primarily, I think the one that's in play is the one just coming into Sky Valley past the overlook and across from Winding Ridge. We're still talking, and we've pretty much gotten proposals. They may need to be amended because I know Ed fixed the lighting there, and I think there's been some trimming done out there. So we'll get with Mark to see what adjustments he needs to make to his proposal, and then see funding, whether it's going to be a between timeshare, city, or the club, or who's going to cover that. But that's pretty much on the signs. The sign on Bald Mountain Road it's pretty clean there. We can always talk about enhancements, but and the only thing I would say on that one is it probably needs to be cleaned, the rock, as does the one across from Winding Ridge. So that's pretty much where we're at there.
Okay, because Mark did share an estimate he gave you to do the work around the signs. All of the maintenance work that he did last year is covered by the contract with the city. So the additions that I've discussed, the shrubs, the pollinator perennials, moving the Coosa dogwoods and some daylilies that Bruce and Kathy have, the Stelladoro lilies, will go down to the rock at LaBelle. He gave me a very, very rough estimate as to what it might be to do everything that we want to add on top of the city contract. And he said, right now, until I can really see how many of this and how many of that I need to buy, let me just tell you that the additional work will not exceed $3,500. I have talked with the Garden Club and with the POA. They have both said they would contribute to additional landscaping costs. We have not talked about specifics, how much will each of them give, because I didn't have that firm number. And Mark has said, let me see how it goes, and I will give you a total at the end of the planting. So don't go and ask for money up front from the POA and the Garden Club. Just know I will not exceed 3,500, and he will give me updates as we progress. So I'll go back to POA and Garden Club and share that. I just got that figure last night, and reassure them, we're not going to drain the bank, and if it goes to that full amount, what would you feel comfortable contributing? So with that, oh, one thing he'll do at City Hall, there's some dead plants, one dead shrub he'll replace and replant a container of annual flowers. That's also included in his contract. So we're very happy working with Mark. He does great work and I believe is very reasonably priced. That ends my report.
Debbie, right quick, just to give you a heads up, the Stelladores are popping up now.
Great.
And I don't know what the timing is to move them, because of freezing. And they've been in the ground for about 15 years. And as far as, you planning on how many and where they're going to go, I imagine some of them can be split up. I'm not sure how that works with, some of these plantings, but they are popping up now. So you can kind of see what you're working with. And like I say, some of them may need to be, you may be able to split them up and multiply them.
Great. And Mark and his crew are doing that with the daylilies at the post office and the daylilies and the daisies at the front entrance. So this is a great way to get, a lot of plants basically free. All they do is dig them up and split them. And we won't do any planting until after frost. So the rule of thumb is after Mother's Day. So yeah, tell your Florida friends, there will be color, but it's not going to happen until after Mother's Day. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Any other comments for Debbie? Thank you for that hard work, Debbie. And I think the council will probably have a bake sale to help pay for all of this too.
All righty.
Or a barbecue. I don't know. Maybe a barbecue. Thank you, Debbie. All right. Now, anybody else? Now for our special projects committee. Take it away, Mr. Turner.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. We spoke of the front entrance lighting. Just to expand on a little bit, Bill, Holly, and I went up there the other night and flagged maybe a dozen or so areas that we're going to initiate putting film on, because it doesn't appear that we need to cover all the lights. We're just trying to identify lights along the road or coming in around the entrance that we can mitigate some of the brightness. So that's kind of where we're at on that. There's a couple ways we may be able to put the film on, and we're discussing that now. And hopefully late this week, just depending on how the weather goes, we can get some of that in place so the residents can kind of see the effects of putting that film on. We spoke about the signs, and last year we identified a few areas, as Debbie has discussed, LaBelle and Driver, where we've kind of enhanced entrances or common areas. And as all the residents drive around, if they see any areas that they think would benefit from some simple landscaping, bring it to our attention, and we see what we can do to continue the process of upgrading the appearance of Sky Valley in general. Spoke with Holly the other day regarding the entrance pavers. They've been in there 15 or so years, and she said that that's something that the city workers can do, but just to clean that up a little bit to complement all the landscaping that Debbie and the landscaping committee are working on. I spoke with Shelley yesterday regarding the timeshare building over by the post office, the laundry building, and the condition it's in, and also the park and what we can expect improvements there. I think she had already spoken with James, and essentially what we're going to do is Shelley has had a very difficult time procuring any kind of talent as far as maintenance. So we're going to help. When I say we're going to help, some of the city workers after hours are going to work with Shelley to make the improvements on the maintenance, the laundry area, and then get that painted once the improvements are made, getting new sand, and just dressing up that park area. So she's aware of it. The communications have taken place between the city and Shelley timeshare. So we're gonna push and see if we can get that done, because it's long overdue, and we understand her circumstances with having nobody essentially to getting this done, but we're going to work with her in an effort to get it done. We did a city cleanup a few weeks ago, and I'd like to get on a schedule. I don't know if monthly's too soon, if quarterly's too long in between, but we can already start seeing garbage on Bald Mountain Road, down to the junction, and again from the junction on down to City Hall. So I'd like us to get together and see what's a good schedule, so that we can have that maintained all the time. And as the season comes May, it's going to increase. So we'll talk about how we can get a routine to where that's a constant effort. And that's about all I have right now.
Thank you, Bruce. Any comments or questions?
I think the one comment is I believe that help with the timeshare will be at the timeshare's cost. The city's not absorbing any of the cost of that, correct?
That's correct. They'll pay for our labor, and they'll pay for any material, sand, wood, stain, otherwise. That's right, Bill. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Bruce. That was great. At my meeting last night, Bruce, I met a lady by the name of Linda Schofield, and she's at the Chamber of Commerce office there at their Welcome Center. And she says that anytime we need any materials to do cleanup, they are part of Keep Rabun Beautiful, that all we have to do is call her and she will provide the vests, the bags, the picker-uppers, and whatever else we need to do that. And also that she would like to post pictures of our citizens doing that on their website, which I think is fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Bruce. All right, now for news business, we're on to item 8, which is to consider the approval of the planning and zoning recommendation. I'm going to ask Dan McAfee to report. Going to ask for Dan McAfee to report on his committee's discussions and recommendations. Mr. McAfee needs to be unmuted. That's Dan with the blue shirt.
Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
All right, Dan.
All right, thank you. Our committee, prior to meeting, we actually did a field trip and went with, I'm hearing somebody else. We did a field trip, went out to the property. We met with Darren Giles, county manager, in conjunction with this, all before we met. So we, knew the property, we knew the condition of the surrounding properties, and weighed this against what planning and zoning is supposed to be doing. And that is item number one on our criteria is to look at the existing uses of the zoning and nearby property and whether the proposed change would adversely affect the existing use or usability of nearby property. In looking at the condition of properties just outside of the city of Sky Valley that actually abut this property, it was very clear to us that we do not want this property to lose the control that we have over what happens there, i.e. parking of any number of vehicles, commercial vehicles, the condition of debris left on and around properties and so forth. We feel that what would happen there if we lost that control is that we would definitely adversely affect the properties within Sky Valley that surround that area. It was for that reason that we voted unanimously to recommend to the city not to approve this de-annexation.
All right, do I hear a motion? Do I hear a motion to accept the planning and zoning's recommendation?
Do I not get an opportunity to say anything?
After we talk about, after we get the motion on the table.
Okay.
I'm sorry you didn't get to be part of the planning and zoning meeting, Mr. Beauchart. Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Committee?
I move we accept the recommendation.
Thank you, Jim. A second?
I second.
Thank you, Ed. All right, council discussion.
Mayor, I do have some questions if I can speak up.
Certainly.
The de-annexation process is governed by OCGA 36-36-22. And it kind of lays out the procedure for how a homeowner or property owner is to request a de-annexation. And my understanding is that the property owner made a request to the city and gave us a correct property description of the property that was wanting to be de-annexed. But did the property owner go to the county and have the county pass a resolution saying that it consented to the land being made unincorporated part of the county? Did that happen?
Mr. Beauchart?
I'm not sure who is that supposed to go to?
John, I can speak up. This is Terry Dobbs, Mayor and Council. I'm John's realtor.
Yes.
Mr. Kidd, we were advised in previous meetings, it's been going on for over a year now with your town, that once you guys would make a decision, then we were to contact the county. We're aware of that process having to be done. We've been waiting on direction from your counsel. As you can tell, Mr. Bossart does not have legal counsel himself.
Right.
We've been trying to, just do this as smoothly as possible. So we were waiting on your recommendation. If I recall, Mr. Kidd, one of the previous meetings, you had said once we heard back from the town what they were recommending, then we would need to go to the council. We're fully, to go to the county. We're fully prepared to do that. And
Yeah.
have reached out to the zoning administrator at the county.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, I'm looking, this first got on my radar back in May of last year, and I wrote a memo to the city manager at the time. And then I wrote another memo in November of last year. And both of the memos I wrote, the procedure is that first the property owner puts the city on notice that it wants to be de-annexed. The second step is that the property owner needs to go to the county and have the county pass a resolution saying that it consented to the land being de-annexed and being part of the unincorporated part of the county. The next step is to come back before the city, and then the city would have to pass an ordinance granting the de-annexation. Once that's happened, the county's resolution and the city's ordinance for de-annexation would be sent to the Department of Community Affairs. I don't know which way the council is going to go on any of this, but I just think that the issue is not ripe for the city to vote yes or no unless the county has already passed a resolution saying, yes, we would accept this property into the county.
Well, I
Go
have
ahead.
talked with Les Neely, and he said that that was not his understanding, that he didn't have to get that resolution from the county first. Now, the other thing I would like to just mention is the property right across the street, which is owned by a Mr. Nicholson. There was a concern on Jason's a conversation I had with Jason yesterday that this would create an island across the street with those two lots. So I talked to Mr. Nicholson, and I think this may refer back to something that was talked. Moody Barrack had mentioned that de-annexing of property in that area this is nothing new. And talking with Mr. Nicholson, he said, yes, my lots were de-annexed years ago. He said, I'm not in Sky Valley anymore, and I'm not paying taxes to them, and it was de-annexed. So in looking at adjacent properties, the property right across the street was de-annexed many years ago.
Okay.
Mayor and council, I'd like to chime in on that real quick. Mr. Bossart did come in yesterday late in the afternoon, and doing some of our research, a lot of the information that we have here are city boundary as well as our zoning map that showed the Nicholson property being in the city. And from what we could tell, there was an issue of creating a potential island. Since this morning, we've been kind of trying to do our due diligence as quickly as we can before our 10 o'clock meeting. It does appear that that property is not in the city, the Nicholson property, by the way, we're talking about. From talking with Alyssa and some of the staff here and some of our research, it looks like it has never been in the city. So some of our mapping there may be some errors there. I would say I'm probably 70% sure that it's not in the city, just based on our very quick due diligence that we've done. So I think the correction is that it was never de-annexed because it was never in the city, meaning that the city limits end at Mr. Bossart's property. So just wanted to clarify that. Again, this is just some information that's come to light very quickly this morning and from late yesterday.
I would just add that I know the property owner is not represented by council, but he probably needs to be represented by council, because if you read the very first sentence of that statute for de-annexation, it says that that he has to present to the city a resolution from the county accepting the property. And so we can't really take up the issue and vote yes or no until he's done that. So, I mean, I know he doesn't have an attorney, but he probably needs to get one if he's wanting to pursue this, because I don't think the issue is ripe for the city to vote yes or no on de-annexation, because the property owner has not followed the statute.
That's messed up. See,
I would like to say that we're going to go with our attorney's recommendation, and I would like
Well,
to
what we need to do, I believe.
excuse me, Mr. Bossart, and I would like to table this issue until this can be rectified and in accordance with the Georgia law. Do I need to do a motion for that to table?
Yes.
Okay. What do we need to do with the motion that's already on the table?
That's what we need to have done.
Doug,
I,
what do we?
I will withdraw my previous motion.
Okay, thank you. All right, so then the motion is to table the decision on this issue until such time as Mr. Bossart can produce the documents from the county. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion, discussion, Jim?
Yes.
You know, aside from all these procedural matters, there's a substantive thing of whether this is right and appropriate. And I was I was very sympathetic to Mr. Boschert and until I attended the planning and zoning meeting, and I found those arguments fairly persuasive. But the fact is that we've got some bigger fish to fry here, and that's how do we develop that back secondary access to Sky Valley so that we can get ambulances and fire vehicles up here if there's a problem on the other route, or a restriction inside of Sky Valley, which you're all familiar with, the culvert. The documents pages with our packet, there were maps on page 5 and 7 showing the situation down there, and there were 3 potential routes listed on that. And I don't know exactly where those came from. I'm familiar with the area. It's very wooded. It's quite steep. There are no contour lines on the mapping. As I walk down there, I don't see any obvious ways other than where the road is now. But that's to be determined. I'm thinking we need maybe a certified planner like perhaps our city manager to take a look at it. We may want to bring in some engineering help to see how feasible any of those 3 routes are. Mr. Boschert's property is integral to at least 2 of those. I think we need to talk to the other landowner. And I think that is what we need to start focusing on so that we can bring this to a resolution.
Thank you, Jim. Any other comments? Discussions?
Mayor and council, are there any other concerns that need to be addressed by Mr. Bossart as he brings in legal counsel that are concerns to make sure that they're addressed appropriately other than the legal process?
Mr. Kidd, does he have anything else he needs to attend to?
I can't give any legal advice to him, but I do recommend he's speaking to an attorney, and the application to the city needs to follow that statute. And that's all I can say.
I think that we need to, Jason, possibly you need to address the several issues in Mr. Boshart's letter on why he wanted to have us consider de-annexation. I think there was some miscommunication about the rationales. If you can address that.
Mayor, I did speak with Mr. Bossart, and I think some of the concerns that he has with it staying in the city is what he can, or I guess what a potential buyer can or cannot do with the property. It's my understanding that, again, correctly, I think his realtor's here as well, but they would like to sell the piece as a 10-acre tract for one home. It does have paved county access off of Pressure Run Road. And there was also some concerns, I believe, about tree removal. Bob Powers is off today, but I did have a chance to speak with Bob yesterday. Our city regulations do say that you can remove up to 25% of the trees. So with proper permitting, but if somebody wanted to buy this property and build one house on 10 acres, our regulations would allow that. There should not be any issue with that at all. Obviously, they'd have to go through the proper permitting, et cetera. It is a county road, so I'm sure they would have to get a driveway permit from the county. But I do not see any roadblocks from this property being developed and staying in the city if somebody wanted to build a house there, unless there's something that I'm missing. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I don't know what other concerns Mr. Bossart may have, but I just wanted to clarify that it can be developed. Again, if somebody wanted to build a house on 10 acres, they can do so.
Well, the big concern, of course, also was access to the property. When Terry Dobbs went out there about a year ago with someone from the city, they basically agreed you'd almost need a four-wheel drive vehicle to get in there. So that certainly would be a concern.
Well, it's on a county road, is it not?
From the surveys and from driving down there, it does have county maintained or county access. It is steep, as was stated earlier there. You may have to have a four-wheel drive to access the property, but it does have access from a road. So I don't, without seeing any more engineering work, so forth, I don't know what any other roadblock could be, but I don't see any reason why it could not be developed.
Mayor and council, this is Terry Dobbs. The past 4 years, well, last year, we've not been able to market it because of this situation. Past 4 years, all potential buyers that are interested in this property did not see any benefit to Sky Valley amenities because of proximity, the type of property, they'd be building a home, but it's not a country club. There's no desire. It's more the rural area that's at Raven Gap. So that's where this whole process came up to, is what is being offered by paying taxes to this property owner or future property owner. And the past 4 years of marketing, there have not been any benefits. So I just wanted to point that out to the why that was brought up by Mr. Bossart.
Thank you, Terry. Any other comments? With that, we'll go ahead and vote on the tabling motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you. And we'll get back with you, Mr. Boshart and Terry. Thank you. Thank you for attending today. All right, our next item on the agenda is to consider approving placing Mr. Allred on our marketing committee in Bill Oliver's stead. Our charter describes the membership of our committees to consist of community members and council members, which are appointed by the mayor and approved by council. I'd like our newest council member, Tony Allred, to be appointed to the marketing committee. Mr. Allred has wonderful skill sets, one being that he was the president of the Raven County Chamber of Commerce for 1 million years, which lends him to be a valuable asset to our marketing committee. Do I hear a motion to replace Mr. Oliver with Mr. Allred?
So moved.
Thank you, Bruce. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, go ahead.
Just to say that Bill has always been a great asset to the committee, provided expert opinions and very positive, and I'm sure Tony will follow in Bill's footsteps.
Amen. Well said. Any other comments? Tony, do you want to adjust my last statement of 1 million years? How many years did you serve as president?
Actually, it was just short of 10 years, but 1 million sounds about right.
All right. All in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? All right, Tony, you're signed up. You will have to, of course, sign our ethics ordinance, which is part of the requirements for being on a committee, and we will, Karen will send that to you in triplicate. Isn't that right, Karen?
That's right.
All right. All right. Item number 10 is to consider the approval of the proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week. Do I have a motion to approve this?
Absolutely.
Amen, Bill. Second?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Ed. I just can't say enough about our two clerks, you all. I couldn't have made it through the months without a city manager. They're wonderful. I'll just read part of the proclamation, and then we will post this proclamation on our Sky Valley Times monthly edition. It says, Proclamation, Municipal Clerks Week, and it's May 2nd through 8th. Whereas the office of municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. Amen.
Amen.
Whereas the office of municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality, impartiality, rendering equal service to all. That just kind of sums it up for me. These two ladies have just worked themselves to death. Please take the time. This is for the council and all our citizens to thank these two ladies. They've worked tirelessly during the months, and we thank you. Thank you so much. All in favor of this signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, you better not. Thank you. Thank you, Karen, and pass on this to Miss Alyssa also. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
All right, now we are at the public forum, which was all comments must be done by the chat, and I've been reading some of them. I hope that I will answer. I'm not sure who asked the question about the marketing funds. Basically, we are at this time completing a 2020 financial report with our new city manager and our contracted financial advisor. As it appears at this time, we will not have to do a budget amendment, and we will certainly get that report out to all our citizens as soon as it's presented to the council in April. The council will be looking at redoing possibly the marketing line item in our April workshop. So all these figures and reports will be available to our citizens at that time. Thank you for the question. I think have I answered all the questions, Jason, in the chat?
I don't see any, Holly.
Okay. All right. With that, I want to say, I hope you all are staying safe and hope we have COVID on the run. I would like for everybody to encourage all our citizens to call the city and get their name placed on our distribution list so that you can get a copy of our Sky Valley Times. The City Hall does a fantastic job of reporting what's going on in the city. I think it's a great document. Do I hear a motion? Oh, our next meeting is going to be a live April workshop. It is going to be on April the 13th. We have some presentations coming, a lot of things that we have to decide on. I hope a lot of people will show up for it on April the 13th. Be watching for the agenda. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Holly, could I just ask, going back through the chat questions, did you answer Paul's question about does the committee have the authority to spend money from city funds?
I'm
That
not
was
sure.
related to
I'm not sure.
landscaping.
Yeah, is that for landscaping? No,
Yes.
they do not. They can just recommend, like all the committees. They just make recommendations to the council, and then the council decides on the spending.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ed. All right, do I now hear a motion for adjournment?
So
I move we adjourn.
Yeah, I think that just put everybody's name down, Karen. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Y'all have a great day and see you later.
You do the same.
Thank you.